Back in '92, the one thing you don't want to do is to have your race ended before it's even begun.
It is over.
Sorry, bud. It's okay. Don't stress about it. That's all right. We're okay.
1992 was cold like this as Scott Dixon, the number 9 PNC car, smoking, and you have to wonder, was there contact or is that moisture on the track? And maybe there was still some moisture from McLaughlin in his spin, but his left front suspension is destroyed. His day is over. Scott Dixon is on fire on the left rear.
What has happened out there on track between these two?
It's his time, Scott.
Two of the favorites coming in, two very strong contenders. See a massive fire inside the left rear tire there at Dixon.
That's in the brake system. It's behind the left.
He didn't pit. We heard the call over the radio to pit this lap. They left him out there. That could be a huge issue as we see the devastation on Scott McLaughlin's face and his body language.
And that is what it means. That is what it means to have your dreams wrenched away from you before you've even had an opportunity to make them real. Galling. Utterly galling for Scott McLaughlin. And I wonder, guys, Scott Dixon on row 2, McLaughlin on row 4, how could they have come together? They're 2 rows apart.
Well, we don't know if they had contact yet, but let's get a report maybe on what's going on with Scott Dixon's car as the EMR safety team goes to work on McLaughlin. Kevin?
So listening to the number 9 radio, it does not sound as dire. They need to just cool the brakes. Michael, his strategist, is telling him, let's just cool the brakes. It's all going to be fine. They are not planning to pit at this moment. And
they have the benefit. Felix Rosenquist, who's right behind Dixon, can radio in and get some information because there's a relationship between Chip Ganassi and Jim Meyer. Here's what happened with Scotty Mack.
We ride on boards with McLaughlin warming his tires. Oh no. Oh no. Warming his tires, swerving just to put some temperature into the rubber, and just loses it.
The track is cold. The tires are cold. These cars are set up to turn left. They don't do straight very well, Townsend. And when you light up the rear tires to try to get a bit of heat into them, it is so easy to have that happen.
Well, especially if there's any of that residual rain moisture on the racetrack. And for Scott McLaughlin, the worst feeling I can possibly imagine as a racing driver. Trying to come to grips with what seemed like the most bizarre moment of his life. Jamie, the 3 out.
Yes, I just talked to his strategist, Ben Bretzman, and he said exactly what you guys just saw. It's a cold track. He was trying to warm up his tires, swerved too much to the left, hit the inside wall, and I just asked him, is there any chance that can be repaired? He said, no, we are done.
And obviously, with the cars still circulating, laps are counting now. So the lap count has begun at the Indianapolis 500, even though we haven't officially started yet, because of course you only have a set number of pace laps before the race officially begins, but it is behind the safety car and under caution.
Lucky for Dixon to be able to get that out, because had the diffuser, the carbon diffuser, actually gone up in flames, now the whole car is alight. So it was a gamble, but it's paid off, as we understand Dixon's left rear braking system has cooled back down as Scotty Mack's Yellow Submarine, the Penzo number 3, goes back to Gasoline Alley.
But my concern would be, is the brake system okay? I mean, that caliper inside that left rear wheel was on fire for quite some time. There are very delicate brake lines, and he's being told to stay off the brakes right now, so I'm not sure he even knows if the brake system's okay.
We wait to see. Scott Dixon waits to see. We wait to go racing.
My mental health was better, but uncontrollable movements called TD, tardive dyskinesia, started disrupting my day.
TD felt embarrassing. I felt like disconnecting.
I asked my doctor about treating my TD and learned about Ingrezza. Ingrezza is clinically proven to treat TD, quickly reducing TD by greater than 5 times at 2 weeks. #1 prescribed Ingrezza has dosing that's always 1 pill once daily, and you can keep taking most mental health meds. Ingrezza can cause depression, suicidal thoughts, or actions in patients with Huntington's disease. Call your doctor if you become depressed, have sudden behavior or mood changes, or suicidal thoughts. Don't take Ingrezza if allergic. Serious side effects may include allergic reactions like sudden, potentially fatal swelling and hives, sleepiness, the most common side effect, and heart rhythm problems. Know how Ingrezza affects you before operating a car or dangerous machinery. Report fever, stiff muscles, or problems thinking, as these might be life-threatening. Shaking, stiffness, drooling, and trouble with moving or balance may occur.
Take control by asking your doctor about Ingrezza.
Since 1983, Nissan has been assembling award-winning vehicles for you, right here in America. And we're committed to keeping our lineup affordable and free from new tariffs. That's why we've lowered MSRP on our best-selling Rogue and Pathfinder. So you can get the car you want, at the price you want, knowing Nissan is here for you at the Nissan Summer Sales Event.
Now get a low $249 per month lease on Rogue, or get a low $339 per month lease on Pathfinder.
It's been over 7 years since Pastor Billy Richards was treated successfully for prostate cancer by Perlmutter Cancer Center, the world's #1 cyberknife program.
I had no pain, no fatigue, and no side effects.
After 5 treatments in 1 week, Pastor Billy went right back to leading his Brooklyn congregation.
Cyberknife was truly a blessing for me, my family, and my ministry. If you have prostate cancer, I urge you to look into Cyberknife.
Call to learn more about Cyberknife at Perlmutter Cancer Center.
Are you ready for the ultimate entertainment experience? Spectrum is bringing together the streaming apps you love. Plus, live TV for sports, entertainment, and news. All in one place, across your devices. So no matter when or where you are, it's all here. Spectrum.
Good Day New York is streaming on the free Fox Local app. Download on your phone or TV today.
In history and take their date with destiny to etch their name into racing immortality. And as they round the final corner, we prepare for the 109th running of the Indianapolis 500.
Can't think of more difficult circumstances for the rookie Robert Schwartzman, but he gets after it in anger.
Sensational start for the rookie Robert Schwartzman. Pato O'Ward topped up underneath him already, and O'Ward has a look to the outside into turn 1, but Schwartzman will lead the field from the pole.
Side by side back there, Alex Palou going around Rosenquist. Puff of smoke still out of the back of Scott Dixon. As side by side they are, a crash and one.
Marco Andretti got together with Marcus Armstrong. There's Andretti in the 98 car.
Steering wheel off. Means Marco's all right, but obviously intense damage to the left rear, to the right rear. And the curse continues at Indianapolis.
His 20th start, and absolute devastation for Andretti, for Mario, for Michael, most importantly, for Marco.
And what an eerily familiar resemblance to the 1992 Indy 500. A car crashing on the pace lap. We've had that with McLaughlin, and an Andretti into the wall. Let's see what happened to Marco all the way in the back.
5 wide there. Yeah, he gets hit by Jack Harvey. And then Armstrong, just an innocent bystander. Marco tried to hang on to it. It's so tough.
Marcus did well to keep out of that.
Looked to me like maybe the 23 of Ryan Hunter-Reay moved up a little bit, got into his teammate Harvey, and that's what forced Harvey high as we get a late shot here of Marco trying to save it. He was sideways, thought he might get it.
On board as we see Andretti spin and in the wall and out of the Indianapolis 500. Absolutely devastating for him.
And like you say, T-Bell, if Jack got moved up the track, it's so hard. You're trying to look forward. You're trying to assess the cars that are in front of you. Your spotter up on the turn 1 grandstand is radioing to you, trying to kind of paint the picture for the cars that are around you. So your eyes are forward, but your brain's trying to again, assess where the cars are around you to make sure you're giving everybody room. And sometimes room just runs out when you only have so much racetrack.
Marco climbs out, not even making it through one corner of 800 today. He waves to the crowd. Now watch this. Watch Ryan Hunter-Reay there move up a little bit. And Jack Harvey, you know, he went to avoid Hunter-Reay, but I think he expected Hunter-Reay to keep coming up. It might have been a bit premature there from Harvey. But let's take a look at an onboard again. Onboard with Newgarden way back.
Smart move from Newgarden, just hanging back, assuming that maybe there was going to be some incident in the first turn.
Boy, that is a veteran play there for Newgarden, trailing way back.
And even though it's slow, you know, it's first lap of the race, that's still a good lick of the wall.
First back-to-back DNFs for Marco Andretti in his Indy 500 career. And the devastation will come because this is his only race of the year, and it means so much to him, so much to his family.
And these guys went through so much on qualifying weekend, having to go into bump day and make his way into the race.
And as we sit under caution, one of the big stories, Scott McLaughlin already out of the race from the warm-up laps. He's standing by with Georgia.
Scott McLaughlin's day is done. How do you dissect a moment like this?
Rookie, I don't know I really have no idea what happened. Just really upset for my team. They built me a fantastic car again. I'm really sorry to my sponsors, my fans, my family. I don't know what happened. I can't believe we're out of the race. I just had so much hope today, and yeah, it's by far the worst moment of my life. So I'm just, I know it's probably dramatic, everyone's whatever, but it's just like I put so much into this race, everyone does, and I'm just didn't get to see the green flag.
Devastating moment for Scott McLaughlin.
And this is the thing, isn't it, guys? This is more than a race. For so many drivers, this means more than a championship. It's an entire year's worth of work as we get stops under caution early doors for these drivers. Will Power was in, Joseph Newgarden was in, making up a couple of places there ahead of Marcus Armstrong. Rinus VeeKay just ahead of him. But you hear the worst day of his life for Scott McLaughlin, and you, more than anyone, guys, having raced in this incredible event, will know exactly how that feels.
I can't imagine what it feels like with McLaughlin, a favorite for this race. Had a massive crash on qualifying weekend that destroyed his primary car. Team Penske, as McLaughlin pointed out, worked tirelessly to build an equally as quick backup car. He's starting inside the top 12, and for it to go down like that, James, is just, it's impossible to put into words what he must be feeling.
I mean, it's so hard for a driver to reconcile, you know, with that kind of thing. As he said, didn't even take the green flag. It's not like you can talk about the lack of downforce back in the field, or maybe the track conditions are a bit off once you're up to speed. But look, greats have done the same thing. It is not an uncommon thing to see on ovals. It is just, it's a tough one to swallow.
I will say this, though, Will. Track temp at 72 degrees. We haven't seen an Indy 500 with a track temp that low for a very, very long time. The last I can think of, 1992, which is where Roberto Guerrero, as you documented, spun on the backstretch on the pace lap before the green from pole position, no less. And it was a day filled with many cautions because of the low track temperatures.
How much will that come into play when we finally get back to racing? Here's the news, though. Robert Schwartzman from pole managed to hold off Pato O'Ward for all of, well, what was it, 1.5, 2 corners until that caution came out for Marco Andretti. But it was a good start for the rookie. Did everything he needed to do, kept his head and his wits about him. Now he has to contend with his first Indianapolis 500 restart.
That's true, but this is a lot easier to deal with than taking the field to green 3 wide. Schwartzman will have tire temperature in his Firestones.
Through turn 3, the field single file as Schwartzman prepares to take the 109th running of the Indianapolis 500 back to green. He weaves to try to get that final bit of temperature back into his tires. When does he pull the pin? It's now that he floors it. Schwartzman through turn 4, and we're racing once again at the Indianapolis 500. O'Ward tucked up in the toe, wants to have a look around the outside of Schwartzman into turn 1, and O'Ward will lead.
Behind Sato, got a bit of a slow start. It gave Dixon a chance. He got blocked by Rosenquist, who gets around, and now on the outside, it looks like, is that Ericsson trying to make a move?
I see Alex Palou now rounding turn 2 in that yellow and red DHL car with a good run on his teammate Scott Dixon. And now Takuma Sato looks to make the move on Schwartzman. Sato goes to the high side.
Sato to second, Schwartzman down to third, Rosenquist next. Then it is Marcus Ericsson. Alex Palou has made his way past Scott Dixon. Then it's Malukas, Alexander Rossi, Connor Daly, Santino Ferrucci.
Single file right now, but all still very close. Defensive move from Malukas as Rossi tries to make a move. Schwartzman under threat now from Rosenquist into one. Rosie gets ahead.
And this was always the worry. Schwartzman and Prema had not shown great pace during practice. Our question mark was how long could Schwartzman stay at the front of the field? How quickly would he drop back through the field? As now Ericsson has a look, and at the front it's Sato putting the moves on Pato. Takuma Sato takes the lead.
Two-time winner of this race. You hear the crowd cheering down in turn 3. They love seeing a pass for the lead up there at the north end of that racetrack.
So Robert Schwartzman falls back to 4th place, but he told me this morning, hey, I just want to stay in the top 3 or 5 cars, somewhere in clean air, and just settle in. His #1 goal, run all 200 laps today.
Alex Palou sitting in the slipstream right on the rear wing of Marcus Ericsson. Ericsson, of course, who has won the Indy 500. Palou, of course, who has not. Not yet.
Ericsson won it back in 2022, was so close to being the first back-to-backer in 20 years. At 2023, just pit by Newgarden after a late restart. The former Formula 1 driver driving for Andretti Global right now, the strongest qualifier from that team, moving up a couple spots already.
You got to think, guys, that a lot of the drivers are going to be a little conservative after seeing what happened to Scott McLaughlin with these cool track temps. And look at Schwartzman having a look there in turn 1 on Rosenquist. So if he was a little slow to get going, it didn't take him long as the rookie Schwartzman now looking to make moves back to the front on veterans.
Take a beat, take your breath, get your head in the game and go after it. Every one of these laps for Schwartzman, a learning process. He has never raced on an oval in his life. Sato O'Ward doing a bit of a do-si-do at the front. Rosenquist P3, then it's Schwartzman, Ericsson, Palou, Dixon, Rossi, Malukas, and Connor Daly up into the top 10.
Honestly, this is a learning process right now for all of these drivers. These conditions are so different from what we've had all month. So everybody trying to figure it out. And right now, Will, this first into the race, it's about just that. It's about feeling out your race car. This is not a time to panic. Even if you lose 3, 5, 10 positions, it's more about surviving this first stint, feeling the balance of the race car, learning what the adjustments inside the cockpit are doing, and then starting to plan with your pit crew what changes you want to make in those first stops.
You've already seen the fact that Marco Andretti is out of this race. He's standing by with Georgia.
This race, he is also out of the IndyCar medical unit. Marco, do you feel like you could have done anything differently?
Yeah, just been, I guess, patient, but I mean, I couldn't have moved. Once I was committed up there, I couldn't have moved. I was kind of at the wall. They must have been 4 wide. I haven't seen it yet, but whoever was next to me definitely crowded me, and I ran out of room.
Thanks.
Good to see that Marco is okay after that hit that took him out of the race. Meanwhile, with news on the 17 car, down to Kevin.
Well, they're very much watching the clock. So the goal is to be out of here, leaving pit lane in an SUV at 3:57, wheels up from the Indianapolis International Airport for an hour 10 flight at 4:15. That would get Kyle Larson there in time for intros. With cautions, the race may not be over in time, but he still has about a 45-minute to an hour buffer to make the green flag at 6:37 in Charlotte. So Larson is still in play to be able to run 500 miles today and 600 tonight. Jamie.
Robert Schwartzman, the man that started on the pole, slid back to 4th. Now was listening to his radio before that last restart, and they told him, they're coaching him through it, said, it's going to be a day of patience. It is cold out there, and we're going to deal with it all day. Just be patient. Take what the car can give you at this moment. Great advice on the radio.
That's my first Indy 500. Every veteran driver that I spoke to, they said the only thing you got to think about is being patient. It's the word of the month when you're here as a rookie. There's so much to learn, so much to take in. So Schwartzman absolutely getting the right advice right now. What's great for him and all the rookies in the field, we have a few others, is that the conditions are so consistent. I don't think the track is going to be changing as much as it sometimes does. So he's in a nice, consistent environment. He just needs to log laps and learn.
Schwartzman sitting steady in fourth. It is Rosenquist ahead of him in third. O'Ward is second. Takuma Sato still leads.
For Chevy, this isn't just a race. It's science at over 200 miles an hour. It's physics and engineering. Innovating and refining. It's testing our cars, our limits, and ourselves. And moving technology forward so we can all move forward together. Chevrolet.
Pod's biggest sale in history has been extended. Save up to 30% on moving and storage until June 9th. And see why Pods is America's #1 container moving company. Whether you're relocating to a new home or renovating your current one, save up to 30%. Pods brings the container to you, and you can pack at your own pace. Then we'll take it to your new home or to a secure Pod storage center until you need it, so you don't have to do the driving. Book now and save up to 30% at pods.com.
The Bush Guide, cold and smooth survival skills. If you encounter one wolf, chances are there's a pack nearby. Fortunately, the same applies to beer. Head for the mountains of Bush.
This is a meal. Melty, cheesy, flaky, toasty. Lunch just got croissant-tastic. Try the new croissant toast sandwiches. It just meals good at Panera.
It may not sound like it, but this is actually progress at 225 miles per hour. Shell Renewable Race Fuel. Reducing emissions by 60% in all NTT IndyCar Series races. We're moving forward with IndyCar because we're moving forward with everybody. Shell, powering progress.
When it comes to your wireless plan, don't settle for less. Get more with a free 5G phone and real unlimited data from Straight Talk. More ways to connect.
I love you.
More reasons to share. And when you spend less with Straight Talk, you can get more moments to yourself by getting something for them.
This is so much fun!
Switch to Straight Talk and get a free 5G phone on us, on America's most reliable 5G network. Find us at Walmart and straighttalk.com.
The return of a sprinkling of rain has brought out a caution here at the Indianapolis 500. So with the field packed up and under yellow, why not take the opportunity to play the Fox Super 6 Indianapolis 500 Challenge? Download the Fox Sports app right now and enter for free for a shot to win your share of $10,000, plus a VIP ticket and travel package to an IndyCar race next year. See the Fox Sports app for details. And guys, conditions ever so treacherous when you just get that light sprinkling of rain here. Drivers on the edge at 230 miles an hour. You just can't play with conditions when they get like that.
Yeah, they never mess with it, as there's a track official stopping and also collecting a piece of debris on the front stretch. But, you know, really not heavy precipitation in the really none for today. So hopefully this is just one of these weird little pop-ups, James, and it didn't take long for things to fully dry out the last time this happened. And for the drivers on track right now, again, memories of McLaughlin's pace lap crash must be replaying in their heads as they contemplate how much do you want to warm your tires here or do any swerving. If it were me, I would stay chill, patient right now.
Pretty minimal right now is what you want to do. But some other drivers were having some issues. We're going to take a look now at something that happened to Christian Lundgaard in the 7 machine. This Mission Foods onboard. You see the green lights. This is on the start. backs off to give lots of room to the cars in front, but then just sort of gets swarmed. That's Daly. I think that's Christian Rasmussen going around the outside. Maybe Ferrucci as well going by there.
Wow,
so
very conservative.
Very, very conservative, but not a terrible move as we see even Ed Carpenter going by.
Is that just trepidation of not knowing the conditions?
I think so. Probably not sure. Might have had some communication on the radio. And look at what Christian Lundgaard sees right now as our camera lens picks up some of the sprinkles out on the track. So kind of a treacherous situation, especially for a driver like Lundgaard here, who doesn't have a lot of experience here at Indy.
So with the race still under caution, we already have 2 retirements.
Weight loss. For so long,
I felt stuck. But Zepbound means change. Zepbound is for adults with obesity to help lose weight and keep it off.
it's changing what I believe is possible when it comes to weight loss.
It's changing how much weight I lose, up to 48 pounds. And some lost over 58 pounds.
Don't take if allergic to it, or if you or someone in your family had medullary thyroid cancer or multiple endocrine neoplasia syndrome type 2. Tell your doctor if you get a lump or swelling in your neck. Stop Zepbound and call your doctor if you have severe stomach pain or a serious allergic reaction. Severe side effects may include inflamed pancreas or gallbladder problems. Tell your doctor if you experience vision changes, depression, or suicidal thoughts before scheduled procedures with anesthesia. If you're nursing, pregnant, plan to be, or taking birth control pills. Taking Zepbound with a sulfonylurea or insulin may cause low blood sugar. Side effects include nausea, diarrhea, and vomiting, which can cause dehydration and worsen kidney problems.
Zepbound means change. Ask your doctor about Zepbound.
MAGA's coming for New Jersey with Trump-endorsed Republican Jack Ciattarelli. Trump brags Ciattarelli is now 100% MAGA. We've got to stop him. With Democrat Mikey Sherrill, Navy helicopter pilot, federal prosecutor, mother of 4, drove a longtime Republican incumbent out of office. Now, Mikey has a plan.
To drive down costs so families can get ahead.
Including a crackdown on predatory landlords jacking up rent. Courage to fight. Strength to win. For governor, Democrat Mikey Sherrill.
Hi, I'm Dr. Jim McDonald, New York State's health commissioner and a pediatrician. Spaces like this remind me why I do this work. When I look around, I see joy, energy, curiosity. I also see vulnerability. Protecting children means staying a step ahead of preventable diseases. That's why vaccines matter. Vaccines are the best protection, and they help keep places like this safe as well. Protection starts with a conversation. If you have questions, talk to your child's healthcare provider.
This just in. Same game parlay from Bet365 just keeps getting better.
That's correct. It's now even easier to create your own unique bet. You could choose any market, like hits, run line, totals, home runs. With our same game parlay, the choice is truly yours.
Download the app and see why it's never ordinary at Bet365.
Join Natasha Verma and Steve Lacey for the 10 o'clock news, weeknights on Fox 5.
We're back at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway where we are still under caution. Caution being thrown to the wind down in the snake pit. They're not stopping, not for anything.
Why would you? Levels, pumping. The greatest spectacle in racing, James. I mean, it reflects the heartbeat of the drivers right now as they contemplate another restart.
Oh, hello, Mr. Reeves. Keanu down on pit lane.
Good Canadian lad right there.
Nice to see him. I was a simulator instructor for him a few months ago before he made his debut here in the Toyota GR Cup at IMS last October. He looked at me and goes, "What are you doing here?"
Humble brag.
I'm like, I work here.
There is Keanu. Listen, guys, while we've got the opportunity, why don't we take a look at the tyre compounds for today's race with Tyre Talk, sponsored by Firestone.
Kara Kristolic is the chief engineer at Firestone, so teams are dealing with colder temps than they expected. How do you deal with that, and how do they deal with it?
Well, luckily we've had much colder temperatures here and on these tires too. So our tires are designed and engineered to work from 50 degrees Fahrenheit to well above 100. This group has done a phenomenal job and really putting sustainability in the forefront as well. So we're proud of our team.
And it's really changed the way you make the tires, keeping an eye on sustainability.
Yeah, it has, to put that sustainability forefront and to make sure that we're doing sustainability without sacrificing performance. It's been very impressive for the work our engineers have done.
Thank you, Kara. Jamie.
Well, Christian Lundgaard and the 7 car, they are coming down pit lane right now. He has a puncture on the right front. It's had a slow leak. He radioed to the team. They'll take this opportunity to pull it into his pit box for the first time as they count him down and replace that Firestone on the right front.
And that's something, you know, you can feel certainly from inside the cockpit. Could have had a part in that slow, kind of tentative start. But there's also sensors on these race cars. Very close call in pit lane.
And a horribly slow stop for Robert Schwartzman, and that was always the fear, that Schwartzman would get held up on pit lane in that lead position. But through all of that melee, look what it's done for Marcus Ericsson. He leaps ahead of everybody, as problems for Larson as well in the 17, and McLaren trying to get that car restarted. They have the hybrid on board, which you can utilize to restart the car as well, which he does and gets away. But a horrible stop for Schwartzman drops him down the order. A brilliant stop for Andretti and Ericsson places him at the head of the field. And look at the chaos getting out. O'Ward in front.
O'Ward almost lost it, almost spun around as Alex Palou looked to be opportunistic to the short side, but listen for O'Ward as he lights up the rear.
Yikes. He's getting told in his ear, there's a driver to your right, keep it into the left lane. That's the transition lane. That sets him wide. Rosenquist has to hit the brakes to avoid running in the back of O'Ward. Palou heads left to avoid running in to the back of Rosenquist. Absolute chaos on this first stop here for a lot of them. As we see now,
Aircheck issue.
Aircheck failure, or it came out.
Or it never was secure as Dixon went up kind of cattywampus there as we take a look at Robert Schwartzman's stop.
As you said at the top of the show, new team, first Indy 500, their 6th IndyCar race total.
Rear right.
And that outside rear, you're having to focus on that job. Well, you've got Indy cars going 60 miles an hour right behind you, inches from your back. Here's on board with Rosenquist with the Sirius XM machine. So close.
Almost took out his front wing, did Rosenquist there. And guys, first round of pit stops under yellow. This is the one where it's supposed to be chill and conservative. Can you imagine what's going to happen when we get to the last round of stops?
I was just going to say, this is the most chaotic first 25 laps of an Indy 500 I can remember.
Since 1992.
The car's serviced and sent full of Shell 100% renewable fuel. Alexander Rossi leads from his teammate Rasmussen, from his teammate and team boss Ed Carpenter. Trying something a little different here by not coming in along with everybody else. They're first, second, third. Devlin DiFrancesco up to 4th, and in 5th it's our Hollywood Harvey. Jamie Little down on pit lane.
Well, I'm here with Sergeant Major Michael Weimer. So happy to have you here, sir. First of all, what did you think of that whole opening ceremonies and the pace lap for America?
It's pretty surreal. I mean, honestly, it's overwhelming. I've never been able to participate in anything this large, and to see how that they merge Memorial Weekend and what it really means to be free with such a race, it's an honor to be here.
250th birthday of the Army coming up this summer. What kind of big plans do you guys have to celebrate?
250 is a big one, and we're going to go big, and everybody's starting to hear that. So we're going to celebrate.
And now our Coca-Cola starting grid. Front row, Chase Briscoe, 4th career pole coming here yesterday, starting alongside Kyle Larson, who won this race in 2021. William Byron won the Xfinity race. He's on row 2 with Chris Buescher. Row 3, A.J. Allmendinger, who won on the road course here at Charlotte, going off alongside John Hunter Nemechek. Behind them in row 4, Ty Gibbs making his 100th career start, and the 4 of Noah Gragson. And row 5 belongs to Hendrick Motorsports' Alex Bowman and Christopher Bell, the reigning winner in the Coca-Cola 600. Down to Trevor Bayne.
Chris Buescher rolls off in 4th position tonight, but keep in mind he does not have Scott Graves on top of that pit box. Scott's serving a 2-race penalty for those infractions after Kansas. Served race 1 at North Wilkesboro for the All-Star and again here at Charlotte. But the entire RFK group is really proud of the speed they've been bringing to the racetrack. They just want to execute all night, as we've been hearing from every team on pit road for this 600.
Continuing with the grid in row 6, making his 14th Coke 600 start, Ricky Stenhouse Jr. alongside the 45 of Tyler Reddick. In row 7, fast in practice yesterday, it's Justin Haley alongside the Talladega winner, Austin Cindric. In row 8, the 71 of Michael McDowell and last year's Cup champion, Joey Logano. Row 9, it's the 7-time champion, Jimmy Johnson, and Las Vegas winner, Josh Berry. Row 10, it's Ty Dillon and the 600 winner from 2022, Denny Hamlin. Let's go down to Kim with more on Tyler Reddick.
Yeah, it's been a tough run of races recently for Reddick and this 45 team, finishing 14th or worse in 7 of the last 9 races. But there is good news. Historically, this is a great race for Tyler. He's finished top 10 in all 5 starts in the Coke 600. Crew Chief Billy Scott told me Charlotte is all about searching for the very best line, and that is Reddick's greatest strength.
Back to the starting lineup with 2 champions. They'll make up row 11. We have Ryan Blaney, the 2023 champ. He'll start next to Chase Elliott, the 2020 Cup Series champ. Back in row 12, Zane Smith, the 25-year-old from California. He'll start next to Kyle Busch, who will actually have to go to the rear of the field for unapproved adjustments. Daniel Suarez, one of 2 international drivers, will start alongside Austin Dillon, the 2017 champ of this race. Eric Jones, another driver, moving to the back of the field, will start next to Ryan Preece, who's having a career year, his first for RFK. And then back in row 15, Cole Custer, the 2020 Rookie of the Year. He'll start next to the 2nd international driver, New Zealand's Shane Van Gisbergen. For more of the driver of the 9, Chase Elliott, let's head down to Marty.
Steve, NASCAR's most popular driver, Chase Elliott, has never won the Coca-Cola 600, and he's got his work cut out for him tonight if he's going to do it here this evening, starting 22nd. But if there's been one signature for the 9 team this year, it's been that they are scrappy and they find a way to grind out finishes. 600 miles at Charlotte might just fit the bill for this group.
Thank you, Marty. Now let's go to row 16 on the starting grid. There you will find a native of Las Vegas, Nevada, going for Rookie of the Year, Riley Herbst, starting there with Bubba Wallace. Row 17, Connor Zilich, youngest ever to take the green flag in a Coke 600, alongside Todd Gilliland. Just behind them, Brad Keselowski won this race in 2020. He's there with Cody Ware. Row 19, Derek Kraus making his first start of the year. He's next to a fellow Wisconsin driver. That would be Josh Bilicki. And row 20, shotgun. We've got Ross Chastain. He's in a backup car after crashing yesterday. And Carson Hocevar, quickest in practice, but had a spin in qualifying. Here's Marty.
Adam, you mentioned that crash for Ross Chastain yesterday. He was by far, before that crash, the fastest car in practice. And here's what happened in turns 3 and 4 yesterday here at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. They did have to go to a backup car for Ross Chastain. But because we're in the Charlotte area, the team was able to go to the race shop last night. They worked until 2:30 in the morning. They were back at 5:30 in the morning getting this backup ready for Ross Chastain. I talked to Phil Surgeon, his crew chief, and he told me, man, we are exhausted. And imagine this, Adam, on NASCAR's longest night, his team working on about 3 hours of sleep.
But plenty of motivation, because Ross has been running well lately and was really good in this race, as we talk about 1 year ago. Now we do our Subway track facts. What do you have for us, Steve?
Well, much has been made about the distance, and that's the big point of the race. 400 laps, unique 4 stages, each 100 laps, fuel window around 70 laps, pit road speed 45 miles per hour.
All right, we're going to talk to Christopher Bell. Christopher Bell's the guys in the booth. You got us?
I do. Got you good.
Man, I know you want to win this race, but y'all needed to find a little bit of speed on the 1.5s. How was practice yesterday?
Yeah, practice was interesting. It's been different than what we've had the last couple times. Last race at Kansas, I felt really good about how the car drove, and we were off on pace. So this week at Charlotte, it seemed like the pace was a little bit closer, but the balance was off. So I have no doubt that if we get this thing driving good, we're going to have a shot at it and be in contention at the end.
Just how tough is this race? I know that corner you're in right now is really bumpy. Even under caution, it's really physical.
Yeah, I don't know if you're looking at the camera or not, but it's definitely bouncing us around, and it's rough. These next-gen cars don't like the bumps, but that's what makes it so fun.
Thanks for talking to us today. Good luck today.
Thank you.
Really look forward to watching Christopher Bell. Been so good lately and on the balance of the year, and of course was able to take care of business in this race 1 year ago. And this is what it's all about, NASCAR's longest night. And you see the comparison, the impact it has on everyone involved.
I know that's hard to believe that you'd lose that much weight and that many calories. You burn that many calories. It's absolutely true. But look at this list of winners, Steve, that have won this race. 18 Hall of Famers, 19 Cup champions.
Well, that's the key. I mean, the key to this grueling test is that that's what makes it so rewarding when you're able to win the test, right? Is that everybody knows it's the local race, it's the longest race. Everybody wants to make it happen here in Charlotte.
Aerial coverage provided by Goodyear, celebrating the goodest day in motorsports with blimps over Monaco, Indianapolis, and Charlotte.
This was that moment in the race where, I can't speak to the drivers, Dale. Everybody talks about you're comfortable behind the wheel, but as a crew chief, I almost start to settle down as well, right? So many things, you've practiced, you've tested, and now I'm on top of the pit box. I know what is ahead of us, right? We know the task ahead. Let's listen into the 45.
Take a moment to remember what this weekend and tomorrow is all about. Give thanks to those service members and their families, much like Sergeant McGee, that sacrificed everything for our freedom. So the only reason we're able to do this.
Yes, sir. Do everything we can to have a good night, and hopefully he'll take his family victory lane tonight.
It's a crown jewel race. We've got a sold-out crowd at Charlotte Motor Speedway. Welcome to NASCAR on Prime. Pace car heading to pit road. It's go time in the Coca-Cola 600. Briscoe gets the early jump on Larson as they come down the back straightaway.
To the outside, he looks in turn 3 and 4. Look at Larson. Straight out of that Indy car, right into the stock car here in NASCAR, on the throttle. Gonna lead lap 1. Briscoe's gonna draft back by, side draft down the front straightaway, a little bottom out of this 19 car. Up the racetrack he goes.
That's tight coming off of turn 2, side by side for the lead, down the back straightaway, lap 2.
Big run here to the inside, 3 wide down into turn 3. Riding on board Byron there. There you see him to the inside. Briscoe lifting out of the gas a little bit. Byron's going to clear.
Felt the wake, goes to the inside. Here's William Byron taking over the top spot. He leads lap 2.
And that move was William Byron. Matured at Hendrick. He doesn't push a teammate. 3 wide, thinking about himself as he should, to the front to lead the 600.
Picking up where he left off yesterday. Dramatic ending in the Xfinity race. Byron wins it. His first victory here at his home track, and he's in charge right now with Larson behind him.
Briscoe's trying to settle in here as Buscher tries to battle to the inside. He doesn't do it. Now Buscher side by side down the front straightaway with a 42 and Nemechek. Nemechek's been running good over the last couple of weeks. A lot of excitement with this team. He's not going to get the job done. He's going to push up off of 2 there. Slows Buscher down. 3 wide, down the back straightaway.
That 20 car, Christopher Bell getting aggressive and making moves down to the inside of the 4, Noah Gragson.
Reddick running the wall already up in 3 and 4, trying to make time. Nemechek again to the inside of Buscher. Clears him down into turn 1, going to drive up the track, try to take the air away from the 17. He doesn't. Let's take a replay here of Bubba Wallace getting in a little bit of trouble. Down the back straightaway. Oh, jumped in the gas a little bit, and back in, steps out into the wall.
I love the simple thing. All good, right? We're going to have those sort of challenges all night long. There's no way you're going to run this sort of distance without making mistakes. You got to have that calming voice. A driver is in the boat by himself. Don't make him feel that way. Be on the radio. Let him know you're supporting. Let him know you're here on board with Christopher Bell. Big run. What's he going to do with it?
Nowhere to go. But we're getting a really great look at Buescher side drafting the corner of that 42 to be able to get to the inside, down into 3 and clear off turn 4. The 42 and Nemechek back to the inside. What great racing between these two drivers.
That crossover was nice. You talk about how good Nemechek has been lately. It's been at this style of racetrack, the intermediates for Legacy Motor Club and Toyota. The onboard camera giving us a front row seat as Reddick flashes by in that outside lane.
Back to the lead here. Kyle Larson tracking down Byron. Byron to the inside is going to clear. Right on board with Larson here. The HendrickCars.com camera to the inside. The momentum's obviously on the top side of the track. The 24 should clear on corner exit here. But if Larson can get to the door of that 24, it'll make that outside car really tight off corner exit. And Byron would then have to lift. Larson can't follow him because the dirty air behind that 24. He wants that clean air under his car, so he offsets in the corner.
It just amazes me how quickly Kyle Larson gets acclimated to this stock car. I don't care if you jump into your wife's car at home. It takes you a little bit to figure out where the controls are, what you're doing, get the mirrors set right. He jumps in the stock car, 3 wide, battle for the lead on lap 1. Here he is trying to take the lead from his teammate.
I've never seen any athlete with a shorter memory than Kyle Larson. He can forget adversity like that. And here he is once again inside of his teammate. Driver 5 back on point with a little bit of a wiggle in front of Byron.
Got a little bit loose down on the bottom of the racetrack. Turn 3 and 4 very bumpy. We're going to see a lot of cars jumping out of control in that corner, getting sideways, losing the nose, bouncing up the racetrack.
I love the energy of this race early.
It's such a good race. It's been one of the best races on the series for the last couple of years on the oval at Charlotte. And this is why lots of grooves, lots of ways for these guys to make good corners. And look, Byron trying to bring the fight back for that lead.
Well, I mentioned the day that Kyle Larson has had. Much was talked about for the double. And I talked about the acclimation from car to car. But for Kyle Larson, he started his day in Indianapolis. And unfortunately, it just didn't go as he wanted. Kind of got in a bad air situation down on the bottom of the racetrack, spun around. Relatively hard contact with the back. You're going to jump on board with him right here. You see how quickly it comes around. And just devastated. We heard him in the pre-race. Just disappointed with what could have been. That was his second attempt at the Indy 500. He can't shake his teammate, though. Yeah. William Byron is giving him a mirror full.
Yeah, Williams keeping him pretty busy as you watch the battle. Also back there for third, Reddick goes by Briscoe.
I'm telling you, Reddick has been incredible early. Starts 12th, drives it up to 3rd. That's impressive.
It is. He was fast in practice. He liked to think about this guy using the top of the racetrack like he is here in 3 and 4, but he made that pass on the bottom of 1 and 2, showing good speed anywhere on the racetrack early.
Well, we talked about it before we went green tonight, Steve. We heard reports from the pit lane.